Hi everyone, it's Nicole. This is my first official booktubing video, and I figured I would start out with a library tour. I don't know how many books it takes to really qualify as a library tour, but I did this once and I had my phone flipped the wrong way. Anyway, but I have about 850. I used to be better at keeping count if you didn't watch my new little intro. And I consider myself a bibliophile. I love books. Some books I bought knowing I will never read, but I wanted them in my collection. Ones I read a long time ago and are either dear to my heart, but I'm like, okay, I just want them in my collection. Stuff like that. So, without further ado, and I'm kind of in frame, I'm just going to pan around and show you, okay, keep in mind this is my spare room. It has a day bed without a mattress that I just pile stuff for future use on that tends to be presents for my 10 nieces and nephews and my mom and everything else. I buy ahead of time. With that many, you gotta buy ahead of time. So I have Christmas and everything. And then my cats tear up this room bad too, like the floor. I don't know what's on the floor. Anyway, so we're gonna walk and I'm gonna turn around and show you my books. Okay, this first shelf, I love everything Japanese. I don't know if it was my intro, but I took the language for a year. I had a couple of Japanese classes. I loved it. So that's my motif going on in here. I need another one of these shelves. These shelves are 6 feet tall. They weigh 50 pounds unassembled. So it's not the easiest thing getting them built and put in here. But they haven't been carrying this cherry wood color, which I like. I might have to get a black one because I really do need to replace one of these shelves with one of these because these hold more. But anyway, without further ado, this shelf used to have a theme of anything vampiric in nature. And then due to overcrowding and no space, I've had to double up with just about everything. And a little later on, I will do the whole have I actually read it or not. Because out of the 850 books, I've read less than 300 of them. But, okay. So, as you can see, I have this one, which I kind of heard her name recently, this Tahan Mataru. I haven't read it yet. At the Water's Edge, she wrote Water for Elephants, and this book really doesn't need to be here. It needs to be with the Water for Elephants book, but I think I just shoved it there. That one I really want to read soon. And these couple ones, this book was fantastic. I read it years and years ago, and I haven't really found anything else by this guy, but that name's not easy to remember. And a couple other ones. And behind this row, because I got them double stacked, are a bunch of Anne Rice, just a whole row of Anne Rice, and a very pretty gold edition of The Interview with the Vampire. And thing you need to know about me is I love hardcover. If I can find it in hardcover, I'll get it. If I have the if it's a book I really want in hardcover, which tend to be most of them, that's what I want. I want first edition in hardcover. So these, I used to have a beat up tore up edition of The Giver, which if you haven't read, you need to read. No matter what your age, you need to read. Different than the movie. And then I found the hardcover. So, of course, I got the Red Queen, and I have the King's Cage and Cruel Sword, or whatever it is. But they're in my hallway. I do have a few books hanging out in my hallway. Some are more recent hauls, so they're just not back here. And then, the Divergent series, at least the first 3. Then behind there, I've got 3 of the Twilight books. Dan Simmons' The Lilium. And then The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova in Swan Thieves. If you have not read that, yes, it's about Dracula, but oh my gosh, it blew my mind. Did not expect that at all. I just thought it would be kind of tropey. And these, I don't know what they are, but they're here. My library has a little bookstore that people just donate books. And so I probably paid $0.25 a piece for these. That's the only reason why I have soft cover. And I have some Charlene Harris, a Catherine Kurtz. That's not the only Catherine Kurtz I have. I have another one, and of course Dracula. I have all but maybe the last one or something of the PC cast and Kristen cast. Maybe the last 2, apparently I have Vampire Academy up there. I actually liked those at the time I read them. I have not read them really in years. Okay, next shelf. It's kind of got a little mishmashy than it should. I have some Neil Gaiman. And I love this one, by the way. Some Dan Brown, some Dune. Again, probably like a quarter a piece for those at the books thing. Behind this, I have all these Cully McCullough, who wrote The Thorn Birds, and I do have an edition of The Thorn Birds behind there. She's somewhere behind there. I also have, these are just kind of mishmash. I picked that up for $1 at the Dollar Tree. These I ordered. Have Terry Brooks here and a couple more down there. I want to get the rest of that series because it looks really good. And these couple were from that bookstore. Behind this, I have some Tim LaHaye books that he wrote with Bob Phillips. That I love that Secret on Ararat and the Europa Conspiracy. That little series is great. Because behind this row is like all the Apocalypse series. If you never read the Apocalypse books, you kind of need to. Then I got the Moth books, Brent Weeks, which he's over here because the only place I had room because his other 3 books are somewhere else. Then I got Tad Williams, Beyonders. I picked this up for $1. This one and that one. Next shelf going down. Ow, I hurt my knee. Okay. This Ranger's Apprentice series, if you haven't read it, I'd give it a go. It is about like a 12 or 13-year-old kid, but it doesn't read like middle school writing. It's not really dumbed down. Like, I can point out some that are like dumbed down lately, like this current generation, what they read. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable and I'm trying to hold it semi-still. Okay. But I love this series, and I need to read the Brotherhood Chronicles. I need to remember that that's the one I need with the jacket. But it starts with this one. No, this one, right? This number 1? No, I think it might be. Nope, this one. Tournament at Goulon. I just randomly picked that up. I want to say I picked it. It might have been at that bookstore. I think I had the soft cover. I had the soft cover and I gave that away and picked up the hard one. I just loved it. It was actually really good. And behind here, I have apparently one of my favorite books of all time, That Third Eye. If you never read it, I read it in middle school. I loved it. It's from Lois Duncan. Then Lady Lord by Sasha Miller is a really good book, and All Those Unforgiving and Lauren Kate, which I really like her writing. And then I have The Hunger Games, and I have the Fallen series down there. I fell in love with the Fallen series, and I think it was recommended from my sister. And also, let's put these back up. Well, no, I'll get those out in a minute. Also, Ranger's Apprentice, I stopped at book like 7 because I think I accidentally read the ending to book 12 or something. It's not the happiest way it was going. Like, everything was going fine, and then, I don't know, it got derailed, and I did not like that, so I kind of stopped. And then, of course, I got my Game of Thrones books, and I searched high and low to try to get the first or second editions. Either like the first or second editions of the English versions, or British, and then these are first edition American versions. And I also have the first edition American version of this, and I'm keeping it just because I'm keeping it. This one, I'm gonna make a mess. Yes, I am. Okay, this one I picked up at Amazon for like $4 and like $4 shipping, so $8 total, which I was cool with paying. I did not realize it until a couple days later. I was opening it up. I always open it up and inspect, see if it's first edition. It's signed, y'all. It's signed. Sorry, y'all are seeing my thighs and legs. I've got on a dress, but it's fine. But it's signed. I about freaked out. I did freak out. When I saw that, I freaked out. You have no idea. Okay, and then I got some Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory books, Andre Norton, Marion Zimmer Bradley. I love Andrew Norton. That Karen Ray Morton, the Fae Fever and Blood Fever books right there, they're labeled as like romance novel-esque. They do not read that. Like, I did not know they were labeled that way until I bought them from something else, and that's how they were labeled. I'm like, really? There's like no sex the first book. Maybe towards the end. I mean, it's not like a romance novel. It's like a mature book, like an adult book, but it's more like sci-fi fantasy. I recommend that Fae Fever series. It's awesome. I got Beautiful Creatures, dragon stuff, more Mercedes like it. I have 2 of these. Or I just have the paperback up there. More of those. Back behind here is more of the same, like Andre Norton and Partners. Did she die? She dead? I forgot. Yeah, I got a lot of them. They just go all down. I know it's like the same genre or same authors all the way down. So it's just, bleh. See, this is why I don't mess with my shelves. It's so hard to put them back where I had them. But yeah. And one day I'll actually make a thing saying, have I read it yet? Oh my gosh, that's like really heavy. I picked up those 2 at one time. I think I just had the Clash of Kings on top because it's smaller. But we'll get with it. I'll try to put these back. Come on. And apparently I'm in book 9 with the book jacket. I like book jackets. I want like as pristine as possible book jacket. Because that's how I read. You know, I keep the book jacket with them. I have lost some books, like when I loan them out, they don't come back with the book jacket, which makes me very sad. Oh, and apparently I think I have 2 copies of that book. I bet I don't remember what I have, so I'll, like, these were ordered online, because I know a site that's buy 3 get 1 free. So apparently I forgot I had that book, and it's just hanging out here. Okay, what's behind here? Bunch of Jim Butcher. Oh, the Claudie collection. That's actually decent. It's not as advanced though. I mean, and these weren't great. They're kind of boring. I didn't even finish them. I was so bored. But all those Dark Thunder Way, the Tom Dietz one, those are really good. A little repetitive towards like the 2nd and 3rd book, but pretty good. Very interesting take on all that. Oh, and I have the Wrinkle in Time down here in paperback. Which I'm serious. I pick up these books for like, or most of these for like 25 cents. Like these Merlin sets. Let's see. 25 cents. So, you know, I can't be too mad if I pick up a double copy. Yeah. For $1 for this House of Hades by Riordan. I'm like, okay. This is another Riordan, and this one was $1, even though it doesn't have a book thingy. This one was $1, and it's like a Robert Jordan book, and I got a couple more, Terry Brooke ones, which I did order. I have some Riordan, that one Mortal Instrument books. Robin Hobb, I have 2 of those, Fool's Fate, Golden Fate, something like that. That Night World and the Vampire Diary by L.J. Smith, or whoever she is. I don't really read her. All these except for some R.A. Salvatore, which I have, are Amber Cafferty. I actually went to this, they were advertising on Craigslist, and it was this little donation thrift store that all the proceeds go to a shelter for cats and dogs and stuff like that. So for animals, it goes to an animal like a no-kill animal shelter. So I went and I bought like all these books behind here. They're all Amber Cafferty. I love Amber Cafferty's all her dragon books. They're awesome. But these are all like the sci-fi, like outer space ones, which I really don't read. But I read like Dragon Drums, Dragon Song, all that stuff in middle school, and I absolutely loved them. So I wanted them in my collection, and they're probably like 25 cents a piece. These paperbacks were bought at my regular bookstore. Okay, next, and we're shifting. This is, I guess, my murder mystery kind of thing going on, mostly. I was really into Robin Cook for a while. And they're actually pretty good. Again, after some they get a little bit repetitive, but in that handful I haven't read. This one, I want to say I have an advanced reading copy of this very book. I haven't read this one, but I think it was the advanced reading copy of it. They changed the name. And then I have like Gone Girl and the other one, The Last Man, My Flynn, more Robin Cook. Most of these I picked up at the bookstore. Most of these Tammy Hogg and I have some Iris Johansson were given to me by the people as volunteers who run that little bookstore, and they really liked me. And we were talking and they were like, "You haven't read her?" I was like, no. And so they gave me all those. They're probably the ones that donated them. I have a bunch of Jonathan Kellerman and more behind here. I used to be really into him too, so that's why he's there. And a couple like Hellfire is a pretty good book, and that wasn't the one I was thinking of, but still pretty good. Next, I have, let's zoom y'all out a little bit, all my Stephen King books. This is double stacked. No room for spare. I mean, like, I just couldn't, I had to stack those like that because there was no more room, because Stephen King has ginormous books. And most of these I got, except for like these, I ordered online, that buy 3 get 1 free. And some of them came from somebody else, but a lot of these, someone had donated them to that bookstore, so it was like $1, $2. These two actually got at Ollie's recently. But yeah, picked all those up. I have all of them. I have a gorgeous old, I'm talking about like 1979, 1980 edition of, I really need to get rid of that old. And I have the hardcover over here, The Skeleton Crew. The Skeleton Crew, Night Shift. There's another, Nightmares and Dreamscapes. So good. Like, if you cannot commit to a Stephen King, like, 800-page book or something like that, go for one of those, because those are like a bunch of short stories you can read and stop at any time. So, yeah. And I have like a partnership book going on here. I'll show that back. Apparently I only have the soft, I was wanting like the original of The Shining, that's why I still have that. But I love Stephen King. If you haven't read him, give him a chance. It's really good. And probably one of the least repetitive authors kind of going on. Okay, next up, if I can get up without killing my knee, because I kind of landed on it yesterday, is mostly my Dean Koontz shelf. I think I have this one room and a few there. And then all behind there are Dean Koontz books. And you know, he has ginormous books too that like kind of have to stack like Stephen King. Then I got Revolutionary Road. This is still one of my favorite all-time books, The Southern Life by Pullman. And you know, he's coming out with another one of this series soon. And I just kept this one because it goes with the series. Like, they're the same print. I got another Robin Hobb, so that one does go down there. Okay, and then one Agatha Christie. That's the only one I got. Same with that. Frankenstein by Dean Koontz. If you've never read it, it's awesome. Totally different than what you would expect. I got the Odd Thomas series behind there. Love that, except for like the 3rd or 4th book. And then I was really into S.M. Sterling for a long while. And they're pretty good. I got out of them again. I got The Outsiders, One Lev Grossman book. This is a wonderful book. Very sad. Lovely Bones. Movies, great too. It's just something if you're saying that. And next, Robin McKinley, who wrote still one of my favorite books of all time, The Blue Sword. You either know this one or you know The Hero in the Crown. I was not as big a fan as The Hero in the Crown as I was The Blue Sword. I freaking love The Blue Sword. I read that thing once a year. I did have a worn out paperback copy that I got as an adult. It was worn out. So, and I got the hard copy. It's like the original. But like in my old middle school library, I thought we had a decent library, but we were a small school. So I thought she had just written these 2 books, and come to find out when I get an adult and I actually look it up, she has all these books. And I have more than this. There's a few that are lent out right now to my sister-in-law, which I need to get back. And then behind there, I've just got a mishmash. I love National Velvet. There's the geisha where the heart is. Sister of the Traveling Plant. It's The Princess Bride. The Last Song. It's probably only one besides the notebook of his that I actually have, Nicholas Spark. Cynthia Voigt, which is a fantastic middle school writer. I mean, but she doesn't dumb it down. I miss the writers that don't dumb down teen stuff. These 5 books I bought from somebody or all these books I bought from somebody for like $20. I have not read them at all. But I love Pierce because I got this book at Mike's Merchandise forever ago. And I love this book. And then come to find out, she writes all this. These were from online. But all of these except for this one, I paid like $20 to get all of them. I don't really know what else is behind there. I do have a Tolstoy. There's Water for Elephants, which I love. Oh, the Kite something or another. The Kite Runner, which is not my favorite book. I'm sorry. I did not need to read about that. And it's just like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I didn't like a lot of things. I get the eye-opening to another culture and whatnot. I didn't need that. My top shelf, with a couple exceptions, are all classics. I'm counting like this one's not really. I don't think that one is. I do have some like other things, and then Scarlet, which is the sequel to Gone with the Wind, and that one, which is the sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. I've read probably half of these, maybe a little bit more. I love In Green Gables. Jacob Have I Loved, In the Witch on Blackbird Pond, which I still love. All those. This set of the Chronicles of Narnia, I did have book 1. I've lost it since. I've had that book since I was in 6th grade because my librarian gave it to me on awards day, the last day of school. She gifted it to me. It's like in that cardboard thing. All of them. I kept up with all of them. I just somehow lost that first one. Oh, and then also The Good Earth is down there too. Yeah, I still love that one. I read it not long ago. I don't know really. It's just more classics. All my Anne of Green Gables are back there. My Pride and Prejudice, which I read at least once a year. Jane Eyre. All that stuff's back there. All right, moving on. This shelf has my Harry Potter, which I did have paperback copies. I have scrounged the internet. You don't have to really scrounge anymore. You used to get all the first edition hardback jacket covers, or at least the American one. We'll get into more of that later. This set, oh my gosh, you need to read this set. The Straight Razor Cure by Daniel Polanski. Oh my, it's not a happy book. It's not happy at all, but it is fantastically written. It is original. It's awesome. Okay, Trudy Canavan, which is one of my favorite authors. I got that far, and then I got sidetracked or something. Because I've had it for a while. You don't break anything. I have all that stuff over there. This set, this is like my favorite trilogy of hers. And this is one of my all-time favorite books. This one kind of almost makes it, but this one is definitely in like the top 5, The High Lord. And it is in the, what should you call this series? Black Magician books. Anyway, cannot find that in hardcover. And these are not first edition hardcovers. But, love this. These are all first edition. And so is this one. I actually paid full price for this. That book's $1 million. It's okay. But I love that one. This one's really good. These are okay. They're decent. They're really good. It's just this was my favorite. These are like the sequel to these. This Priestess of the White series, which I cannot find in hardcover. Like these are the other 2 books, The Voice of the Gods and The Last of the Wilds. Is really good. It's very mature. This book, this is the second book from Brent Weeks by The Shadow's Edge, and it's all about this assassin. Very Beyond the Shadows. Apparently she still has my book one. Not my sister. Just crushed that. No. Okay, that's why I don't like paperbacks. It is not a happy book. At all. And something that similar like happens in those books that happens in The Kite Runner, but I still prefer that one over The Kite Runner. Like 1,000,000 times. Like, it's fantastically written. It's good. Okay, next going into pretty much my Juliet Mariller, taken over a little bit by Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss. I can talk today. I love Juliet Mariller. The Son of the Shadows is my favorite book in the series. This is the Seven Water series, and they're all good. This one's good too. Haven't aged that one. That one's good. This is my least favorite one, which is why it's probably still in softback. I plan on getting in hardback. But I love this. This is not happy at all. The rest are a little bit better. I guess the ending gives you hope. I do not like the Dark Mirror book. I just wasn't into it. And the Robert Newcomb, which I was into a long time ago. Because I picked up like these two books at Mike's Merchandise. And then ordered these two. I could probably actually read all that now. I probably would really like it more that I've matured. Oh, this is my other favorite of Juliet Mariller. Fantastic. And a couple more. A few more. And then this Tracy, he writes with his wife in this one. I love this Mystic Quest book. I used to have the jacket to that. That one's really hard to find hardback. Love that series. Love, especially the second book. It's just awesome. I love the Dragonlance series by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. I have most of them. I have collected most of them. They start right there. There's some right down there that I still haven't gotten hardback. Actually, there's quite a lot back there that I haven't gotten hardback. Okay. These. Okay, this is my favorite series. Like, it was the supplement to... Where we go? This is volume 3. That's probably my favorite in the War of the Souls trilogy. And then Margaret Weiss takes the character from that book, one of the characters, and writes a whole another trilogy separated from that one with these. And this one is my absolute favorite. It's fantastic. And then there's the third one. But that one's like my absolute favorite. Going all the way down, that's all Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman in various forms. Some are just Tracy Hickman, like I got the Immortals just by him, and then by him and his wife they wrote like a romantic series. There's like 3 or 4 of those. I think I have them all. Okay, back behind here I have David Eddings, or David and Leigh Eddings. I first started him with The Younger Gods and got those from Dollar General, and then found the rest and actually do really like him. Then down behind here, I have mostly mishmash of what I really don't like, or I only have one of, but mostly what I just don't like. Except for the Shogun, I just haven't read that one. The Truth Machine, I haven't really looked at or read it, or Christopher's Ghost. I only have that one James Patterson and Stuart Woods book, Planet Cave Bear. I do not like 50 Shades of Grey. And then, well, there's actually a couple books about the Holocaust back here. I can get you some light. And then the book called Fallen from Tim Lebanon that I just do not like. I do not recommend whatsoever. That's pretty much what's behind there. Oh no, okay, there's a couple books I sort of like called Breath and Bone by Carol Berg. Like, I got that series behind there. Those weren't bad. Okay. And I do have like the Victoria Aveyard, the rest of that series out there, and some that I've recently hauled that haven't made it back here. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my very long book tour, and if you made it through the very ending, congrats. Well, thank you. And what I'm hoping this does is it inspires me to read what I have while still accumulating more, but I actually would like to read most of these books, you know? Even finish like the rest of the Stephen King books. Like, I thought I'd have those read by now, or the Brent Weeks book over there, and a couple of these. Like, I need to read that just to read that. I need to finish that series. So this is my goal with the booktubing, to actually finish the series I've started, finish some books that I have started. There's not many of those that I just stopped reading. The second book of the Red Queen I kind of just stopped reading. the Magician's, or Thief's Magic over there, I stopped reading. The rest I just need to read. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you liked the book tour. Hope it was interesting. That is a signed Red shirt. If you don't know who Red is, you need to look them up. They're awesome. But yeah, thanks for watching. Toodles.